bans, I want to talk about that really quickly. The first two bans, Panda and Lycan from EG. They banned Lycan even though they're dire, so it's not as scary, but they're still fearful of it. And Panda, if they did their homework and watched Team Gallblack yesterday, they would see that Solo just did, work on the Panda. Just knew his limitations. Just played it fantastically. So they banned it out. They also banned out Bane and then Razor. Again, I'm a massive fan of Razor. Honestly, Sidoi didn't have the greatest performance of yesterday, but did so well in the laning phase, and just that hero I think is really underrated. As far as bans coming out for ex-RoX.KIS, it's the Wisp, which I think is smart. Enigma, I think, is especially smart against Evil Geniuses. Zai just knows how to play that in and out. Farms mech faster than anybody. And then Tinker and then some Arteezy heroes, the Tinker and the Windrunner.
Well, following it up now with a Viper pickup, and if Fear were here and not Mason, he would immediately be laughing. He and I had a couple of laughs down at the NA Hub coverage of the qualifiers, and it's the source of the question: is it trash can or clown shoes? And Viper is one of those heroes. He's phenomenal at what he does, but he's ultra one-dimensional. He is not a hero who is going to give you a whole lot of flex. He's excellent in terms of laning situations, especially if you can isolate him into a one-on-one, be it solo safe, be it mid, be it anything like that. But outside of that, he's just kind of easy to corral with good teamwork and good, honestly, just good crowd control. And EG has that in spades between Magic Missile, between Doom, being able to Doom him, Tidehunter, of course, with Ravage, and a variety of slows on top of that. It's going to be a tough game for Viper, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Viper is actually still not bad against Doom in the sense that if you get good early farm, which you're supposed to on Viper, like when you pick him, you're normally crushing your lane and getting good farm early on. If you get pressured, though, like as you mentioned, then that's when he starts to become a useless hero. But if you do get that good farm, which they're expecting to, you get a fast Ags, and the range is so far that Doom can't really close the gap and get the Doom unless he's got an early blink, which maybe he should go for this game. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm on the fence with Viper. Like, I don't know yet how I feel, like if I really like him, if I really hate him. I'm kind of in the middle. Like sometimes I think he's actually really good, and if you build him tanky and get good like a mech Ags and then Manta after that, he can actually be really, really strong. Then also there's a part of me that if he just gets ganked, he's freaking useless. So I'm on the fence. I don't know how I really feel. But PA picked up for EG. They love this hero. They actually run him in mid a lot with Arteezy. And it's really strong just because you can't really harass them out with just auto attacks because the evasion's so high. You can get free last hits with your Stifling Dagger. So he plays it well. And then Disruptor now picked up for RoX.KIS.
Yeah, I mean, RoX.KIS, if there's any word that I think would characterize their lineup, and I use it a lot, is it feels a little thin. It doesn't feel like a lineup where it's like, oh, we could fall a little bit far behind, but then we can go 5-man. This is a lineup that has to be executed, and each and every hero has to be 100% on point with doing what they're supposed to do at all phases of the game. Whereas EG, you get a PA, you put it on, give it to Arteezy, send him mid, let him get a Midas. He can just always fall back and farm, and you can play defensive, especially heroes like a Tide, like a Doom, and so on. That's just not the case, I think, with RoX. If they do not get a ton of work done in the laning phase and on into the breakdown of the laning phase, if they're not able to keep their towers up, for example, or they start losing team fights and just allow EG as a team to get ahead, I don't think they really have any comeback potential that'll give them hope for the late mid-game and the late game.
Dire team pick.
Yeah, and I'm wondering which is going to be the main one farmer for EG. I'm guessing Tide. I think they run Tide more as the farmer for Mason, and then Doom in the off lane. They could go either or, honestly. In fact, I actually think Doom farming would be better this game, and having Universe play Tide. I think that's probably going to be a better scenario for them. Again, the beauty of it is they can switch it based off of what looks better after the draft is complete. So they have one more hero pick to see from ex-RoX.KIS to see if what's going to work out better.
Waiting on this last and fifth and final pick from EG. That'll tell us a lot, probably, in terms of what shape their lanes are going to take. Like you said, probably a chance, whichever one is going to be a coin flip between Doom and Tide, which one's going to be farming as a core and which one will be going out into the off lane. But just a handful of seconds. Once again, just to remind everyone who's just tuned in, we'll be at Jakiro, actually. So that's a little bit of a curveball. I want to see how they end up doing that. Core Jakiro's a thing, and is actually a fun thing to see if you get a chance to watch it. I don't know that EG is the kind of team that would want to run that as much, but who knows? It's always an option. But this is our second best of 3 of the day. From here on out, now through Tuesday, through next Tuesday, It'll be 2 best-of-3s all the way through, and then our best-of-5 grand finals for the playoffs here at the D2L Western Challenge. So make sure you tune in every single day at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That'll be noon Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. for our European brothers and sisters, 1800. Again, 2 best-of-3s each and every day, no breaks whatsoever as we wind down the D2L Western Challenge. Looking ahead, the Frankfurt, and of course, looking ahead to TI4. The last pickup from Team Go Black.
Interesting. Okay, it's a Doi on Viper. I'm guessing they go, and this is what EG is really good about. Okay, looking at the lineup, it's probably going to be an aggressive tri-lane from ex-RoX.KIS because you can't off-lane solo with Viper. It's just terrible, and it's a waste of the hero, honestly. You could do off-lane Potom, but it's just bad, and you're not going to do that against a better late-game lineup of EG. So what do they have to do? They pretty much have to go aggressive, I feel. EG's really good about guessing what other teams do. I think that's their biggest strength, is understanding beforehand what the lanes are going to be and then preparing for it in advance. Like that's if I were to say the biggest strength of EG, that's what it is. If that's the case, then they should understand that there's probably going to be an aggressive tri-lane. Actually, it might even just be a dual lane. We'll have to wait and see. But some kind of aggression up in that off lane. And maybe what that means is early smokes from Venge to gank bottom. Like if they just gank what's presumably going to be a Viper bottom, and it looks like it will be, that's a very easy kill, I feel. Viper doesn't really have much escape. So if he's caught out of position, it could be easy picking. So yeah, that's I think the go-to here for EG.
Well, it will be Mason on the Doom. He will be farming. Will be a tri-lane with Zai on the Venge, and PPD will be running on the Chikiro in mid. No surprise to see Arteezy in action, while Universe will be taking the Tide into the off lane as you had anticipated. Still waiting to see, like you said, there's going to be a duo lane off lane. I think it is. I think it's going to be BZZ plus Yol playing out in that off lane, while in mid Solo handling the Pugna, and Go Black on the tree as anticipated, hooking up with Sadoy on this Viper. Break down the laning phase with me. How do you think this is going to go if this is the way it's going to end up playing out?
I'm actually really curious to see how. I mean, dual lanes are fine, I suppose, as long as Potom's able to get some last hits. Like they're not going to stop Mason's farm though. That's the thing. So as long as Potom can get some last hits, it'll be okay. But the thing is if this was before the nerfs and buffs to both Treant and Tide respectively, I would say this is great for RoX.KIS, but I don't know if level 1 Leech Seed is really going to keep Tide out, not to mention with the buff to his Anchor Smash. I think he can contest with the auto attack damage coming out from Treant, so I really feel like they needed to, if they're going to do this, just have 3 heroes down here instead of 2. I feel like Tide's going to get way too much.
This is really interesting. Zai and PPD are actually, we'll see. Here comes Mason over now.
He's just grabbing a creep.
Yeah, I was curious if he was actually going to stay there for a bit and just let them 2-on-2, but makes a lot more sense for him to come on over. He did manage to take Tornado, so they will be able to bring down some stacks here in a little bit if they do manage to zone them out officially. Yol still has that DD, but it's about to expire. Here in mid, the matchup between Pugna and Arteezy. What do you think of this?
Well, it should definitely favor Solo, but it doesn't mean that Arteezy can't have a good time as far as getting last hits. He went for an early Poor Man's. It's going to mitigate a lot of auto attack damage, but you can't really totally avoid another blast at certain times. So he misses a last hit right there. The Stifling Dagger is actually really terrible level 1, but it gets way better after that. Solo's right there faking him out. He does actually hit him with damage on that Nether Blast, but it doesn't really do that much until level 2. So here we go. Now some aggression comes out. More damage here for Arteezy, but he's almost got his bottle. So once he gets his bottle, if he doesn't die, I think he'll actually do fine. But yeah, it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of wishful. I think this is a matchup where skill can really come into play.
Here we go. We're going to have Zai being picked off, and it ends up being split.
How does that happen? Was it a glimpse? I missed it, sorry.
Yeah,
no, he's only level 1.
Yeah, I got there just in time. And to see him drop, there was a rotation over from everyone. But no official first blood called that time, as EG continuing to try to zone them out, but they're really holding their own quite well. Universe is certainly getting a lot of experience, as you had mentioned. He's up to level 3.5 already. And EG is really kind of struggling to zone BZZ out completely. In fact, he's even gotten a few last hits, sitting at 4 compared to the 6 of Mason.
Action
at least
bottom. Right. Yeah, sorry. Action bottom is he might die. He did pick up his boots, though, with his extra last hit. So also, he got the Anchor Smash just barely on Sadoy, and it actually makes a huge difference. I feel like if he didn't get that negative damage on Sadoy, he would have easily gotten that kill. Yeah. It was like minus 23 or something. It's ridiculous.
Arteezy did get his bottle up in the meantime, and is already bottle crowing. And his CS sitting at 12 to the 16 of Solo, so Solo is coming out a little bit ahead, but you know, PA just benefits so much, not only from, you know, decent farm. She can play catch-up phenomenally well just because of the nature of the hero, but she also just benefits so much from levels. And you know, that this is one of the reasons why mid PA is so damn effective. I mean, just by nothing but hitting an early level 11, you become so deadly no matter what you build or how much farm you have.
I have to agree with that too. Bottle crowing here for Arteezy. His CS is perfect. And despite this, technically, like you look on paper, it's like, oh wow, Pugnas, he owns in mid, but it's difficult. You know, honestly, every auto attack you want to hit, sometimes you miss it because it's 20% at level 1. It's ridiculous. So you have to rely on nukes, but you can't really do that because it's so easy for Arteezy on PA to just sit back and farm with a Stifling Dagger once he hits level 3. So yeah, it's a lot harder than you'd think.
You said it's so easy. Would you say it's too easy for Arteezy?
Did I say so easy?
Yeah, you said it's so easy for Arteezy.
So easy for me.
New shirt, put it on, designed by humans. Up top, we're going to have Mason dimmed in with a kinetic field. A little bit of damage being done on both sides. Size air stuns out BCC, but Mason's going to end up taking a spill. And that's going to make it 2-0 now in favor of RoX.KIS. Team GoldBlack getting the job done. And they did put 3 up here as GoldBlack showed his face and just left it as a one-on-one down at bottom. PPD is going to be spotted by Yol as well. He has a glimpse ready if he needs it and doesn't. Just manages to hit the kinetic field, and this should be another kill, really. And will be. Oh, this is just a complete lost lane at this point for EG. They're getting shoved around.
The feeds are real. This is not very characteristic of EG. Honestly, they're one of the things I talked about their strength is understanding the lanes, but I would say another big strength of theirs is they usually win their lanes, like, or at least not feed in them. Like, they understand the laning phase. This goes back to GoldBlack, and he knows what he needs to do. He comes top. He has an Orb of Venom. He levels Leech Seed. Here we go. Possible engagement from Zai. Well spotted out by that. Small plays like that are so huge, honestly. Just keeping your proper positioning, it really does make a humongous deal. So my hat's off to those 3 members up there, especially BZZ playing that bottom. He was the one in front. But yeah, GoldBlack, like I was saying, he understood the rotation would be effective because honestly this trial on paper isn't very good. That's why I thought they might just kind of roam bottom, but they didn't do that. Unfortunately, I missed that first blood. It wasn't really first blood, but onto Zai when he died. He must have been really out of position or something because that just shouldn't happen.
The lanes now, duo lanes, or duo solo, I should say, 2 solos. 29 CS to the 31 of Pugna, so Arteezy hanging and banging right there in mid. Sadoy is sitting atop the CS board at 32 for himself, but Universe is getting an awful lot. He's almost level 6 already, and already has 20 CS to his name too, so he's actually more farmed than Mason at this point.
Yeah, I thought Tide could actually get somewhat good farm here down the bottom lane, but it's not even close to Sadoy. When Sadoy hits 6, oh, he is 6. I think Sadoy can kill him. Oh, actually, he just TP's out. Didn't even expend the ulti. That's actually kind of good for Sadoy.
Here we go. Dual Breath going to catch 3. They're trying to go on side. Now they're going to turn it around. A lot of damage being done. Even the creeps getting involved in the mix. GoldBlack being chased by Mason. There's an arrow shot point blank just to slow him down. The movement speed should allow him to catch him, even though he does have boots. And the living armor buying some time, but only delaying the inevitable, as he will end up taking a spill eventually, but he's going to go ahead and double back, and finally killed off as Venge lands the auto attack here in mid. We can see Solo actually got dove hard by Arteezy, and here's Yol to try and punish him for it. Yol had a glimpse. Nope, never mind. Didn't have it off cooldown, so irrelevant.
Yeah, at least GoldBlack, he had no gold. He just spent his last bit on that TP, and he bought a little bit of time for his other members that were up there, so not the biggest deal in the world, but the thing is Potom is just not farming. Like, does have base boots and has 3 assists, no kills though.
Yo, whoa, got hit by a crit just as the glimpse went off. Ended up giving Arteezy a free ride back to safety. But nice solo kill for him, and he's certainly going to benefit a lot from that.
Bottom tower is under attack.
It's placed on Arteezy, placing one in the mid, bottle crowing. He has a Glove of Haste. I'm wondering if he goes Midas. Honestly, he's farming well enough that I think he can get away with it.
Yeah, he should. Kind of his thing anyway.
Yeah.
But Solo continuing to bang away on the tier 1 at the very least, so getting what free damage he can, both through auto attacks and through another blaster because another rotation. That'll be GoldBlack showing up. And that's going to be a challenge that EG is going to face, especially with this lineup, knowing the way Arteezy tends to like to play. He can play very aggressive when he wants to and when he wants to come to a fight. But with a tree on the other side, when they commit to try to take a fight and try to take a tower, they have to go all the way. There can't be any chip damage or any, well, eventually we'll bring it down. Arteezy, cut a little close. Now there's a stun from Size. He rotates in. There's going to be the follow-up ice path. Arteezy going to work on Solo. Can they get him? Yes, they can. Arteezy brings down the Nether Ward as well. And GoldBlack up and fine, but they got the deny on the tower. They got another kill. It's going to be a glimpse back this time, though. It's going to be on the PPD. Gold Black's there, as is Yo. Ice Path catches Gold Black, and that glimpse from Yo actually just got Gold Black killed, and now the stun from Zai. Magic Missile catches him before he can crest high ground. TP's on the way, but it's too late and too little as Sadoy finds a lot of near-dead heroes, but no one in range. Make it 5-3 as EG has not only gotten things back on track, but has gotten things under control.
They're just not respecting the damage output coming from Arteezy. They're really not. I mean, and he did go for treads, by the way, a more safe and team-oriented build, so he can just keep fighting and fighting. But yeah, they're just not respecting damage. Here comes an ulti onto Vengeful Spirit. He's going to TP out, though. Nicely played. He should be okay, I think. Yeah, he'll be fine. So nicely played by there. Expends the ultimate from Sadoy. But yeah, all in all, they're just not respecting the damage output from PA. Like, you get a couple of crits early on. It's a lot of damage output onto these, especially squishier heroes.
Coming up on 9 minutes now, we can see it's a very tight game still yet. In fact, the lead still belongs to RoX, though it was cut down considerably. It's about 500 right now, cut down from around 1,500 at its apex. 2,000 experience, though, is in favor of EG. So how do you feel about the way the laning phase is worked out now for RoX.KIS? Do you feel like they've gotten enough done, or should they be pressing a bit more to accomplish more?
They need kills on Arteezy, honestly. Like, they pushed mid tower, which is good. It's going to slow down his farm a little bit because now he has to go to the jungle. But his farm is good, so that means his jungling's not going to be as slow as it once was. But they need kills on him. They need to him not get out of control. Not to mention, just EG's team fight's way better. So if you're on par, like in even footing right now, you're actually behind. If you're RoX.KIS, you need to be way further ahead.
Yeah, we talked about that. Just the idea that it's a very thin lineup. They need to execute and win pretty much throughout the entirety of the game. This is not a team that is going to be great. Going super late, Gold Black going to be dope. The guys have to follow the Magic Missile. Solo's there. There's a Ravage from Universe to secure the kill as well. BZZ comes in, and all they can do is run PPD, taking a lot of damage. And Solo under cover of Moonlight Shadow. There's the decrep and the glimpse to bring him back. Ice Path a little late and off the mark. Universe, oh, nice swap from Zai. Universe is still going to die, though. Took a Thunderstrike. No, is Earn enough? It is. Universe.
Arrow onto Arteezy, got a little crazy.
And yeah, Arteezy getting a little ahead of himself, caught with an arrow. Still, great plays from Zai, by the way. Just got to shout him out. That was sick, keeping Universe up and alive. Solo is still quite low. He actually denies the rune, ducking through that. But yeah, that's a decent little exchange for RoX, all things considered. They lost Gold Black, but like you said, they need kills on Arteezy, and they got a free one.
I mean, that was a misplay by Arteezy. He shouldn't have gone in. He's like, well, I was getting crits before. I'm going to get crits again. He didn't. So, and even if he did, I don't know. Like, the arrow came out at a nice angle, which, by the way, I don't know why he was so hesitant to use it on Universe right there. Like, even after the decrep came, I was like, oh, this is going to hit. Now he's going to do extra damage, too, with the next, I think it's 40% on decrep. Movement speed, no, it's 50. I don't know why he was waiting so long, but it actually ended up working out even better because they got the kill on Arteezy, so he had some foresight that I didn't have.
Damage done to the tier 1, but not enough to bring it down. It's still outside of deny range as well. Arteezy's hooked up with Universe and Zai, and we'll see if he's just going to go out and go farming. Still 3 there, and he's not in a great place for gold game. PPD is getting some much-needed catch-up golden experience out of mid, though, so they're not going to have too much of a problem with that. It looks like they're ready to sell out on this bottom tier 1. Not a whole lot to it, but they've invested 4 into it. And Arteezy, the one in range, he'll go ahead and pull back. He's got 2 there to help him. Ravage should be down and is for another 40 seconds. And yeah, that's just going to be a free tower. Not a whole lot can be done there. EG has to pull back. No, they're going to glimpse Arteezy. There's the decrep, but able to blink on top of Zai. They're going to push through, so EG has got to decide. Is this tier 2 worth defending or not? They need to decide soon.
They will defend it eventually. They're just trying to get as much out of their mid pushing and top pushing as they can. It's not really pushing, just getting the experience of farm. Arrow comes out, slightly dodged there, or just a little bit off the mark there on Arteezy. I don't think they go in anyway. That'd be very risky if they went on in that. I think RoX.KIS needs to get out. I think they need to. They already did some damage. They forced out the glyph. They forced PPD back with the TP. They should have known that because they TP'd in broad daylight. But yeah, they put a ward down. They should just get back. Unless they have, okay, they do have a Moonlight Shadow. Maybe they can do something crazy here. I feel like I see this all the time. They sit here forever, and it gives another team so much time. Why not just cut your losses? Well, actually, they haven't even had any losses. Just take what you got and then go back, find another time to fight. It's great, too, because they're not even putting enough damage on these towers. And like we said, Treant, he's got all these towers up and running. He's got level 4 living armor.
Yep. Taking a look at the towers. All of them in great shape and will be for the foreseeable future until EG decides to commit 5. Arteezy and his farm is not in bad shape, but not where he'd like it to be. He's at 4,300 overall net worth. He's actually trailing Mason now at this point. And that's what we talked about last time we saw Doom, just how quickly he can come online and how quickly he can begin to pile up the gold, especially when you go this Midas build. Midas and Devour together, roaming through the jungle, just such a great way to gain levels and experience, get levels in gold.
Yeah, and I bet he goes for like Vlad's here. It's going to be really good for his entire team. 3 melee heroes. It's all good. Not to mention extra damage from Venge, who by the way is maxing the Wave of Terror secondary max of Vengeance aura. So arrow comes out. It does actually hit PPD with a glimpse
on Arteezy. Back in the Static Storm kinetic field. He's going to try to TP away. No. Damage output a bit too much. And RoX, ex-RoX, really piling it on now. They may decide to take a run at this tower. The respawn timer is still low. But yeah, they have done a great job in opening this game back up a little bit. It had dropped down to as close as 300 gold. Just their advantage, but now getting back up towards 1,000. Still very, very marginal, but worth mentioning. However, like you said, the problem is they need to be doubling this every few minutes now. This is the time in the game when they're going to feel at their strongest.
Oh,
so now
arrow on the side. Actually, I don't know if they go on this. Here comes the Blink Ravage.
Oh, yes, it. Universe. Showing off the Blink for the first time, bailing people out. There's a Doom on the Sadoy, but he's full health. Universe is going to be killed behind the fight. And Gold Black hits the Overgrowth as well. PPD behind the fight. Mason in trouble as well. Solo decreps himself to stay alive, and Arteezy can do nothing but bail out. And they do get the tower.
Oh, if he got a crit on that Stifling Dagger, Solo was dead, but he doesn't. Little lucky for him. Or I should say unlucky for him. Oh, the Starfall! Or Starstorm, I should say.
Man.
Barely edges out onto PPD. He dies. Maybe a possible swap to cancel TP. No, Zydus into it. Wow. What a... Okay, one of the things with Ravage is you need follow-up because it actually doesn't do that much damage. It was a nice surprise blink, but the damage wasn't there. The mech came out right afterwards from Pugna. Nicely played by him for going for that mech instead of the Viper and making sure that they don't screw things up. The ward, the Nether ward was there too to do some damage. Nicely played by RoX, and that's very scary for EG because they do have, I think, better team fight, but when you have these core items coming out from RoX.KIS where EG doesn't, then things could get bad. And now another tower pushed up top. This is going to be a free one because cooldowns are down for EG, the Doom, and the Titan and the Ravager down.
Well, this is your nightmare. Anytime you play against the tree, as you begin to lose towers, Universe is actually trying to make a run at Gold Black. As like he'll stay alive. In the meantime, that tier 1 top does drop. But this is a nightmare. You know, you start losing all of your tier 1s. You're even down to just tier 2s now. You're having a hard time really coming to fight. Tide doesn't even have Ravage up. It's another 60 seconds, so trying to fight this off right now would be a huge risk. And they're just going to go ahead and take Roshan, and this is one of the most typical things you see whenever, you know, an enemy team decides to, especially when you're dire, decides to go ahead and push and take your tier 2. You just move it in the Roche pit, taking ages. But now they're down to just one outer tier tower, and they're against the tree. That's the nightmare.
I mean, you can't really say it's like bad they went for Roshan. Like they couldn't fight top at all. So that was a smart decision. Maybe they go try to take bottom to get some kind of map control, but that's very risky. If they just TP back and fight through, then you have to back off. So I think that was the right decision. ex-RoX.KIS, they put actually a decent amount of damage on that tier 3. Got it down to about half HP. And yeah, they're looking pretty good. They have some wards now up in the jungle, that main spot. TP bottom.
Arteezy able to make it away.
Oh, if he got there in time, he could have glimpsed him back.
Yep, would have been kind of sick, actually. But instead, Arteezy able to make it away to safety. And EG on the ropes, at least for the moment. This is what we were talking about. Yeah, see, it seemed out of the pale, but this is like whatever I said a minute ago, that we're getting to the point where their lead needs to be doubling every couple of minutes. That's exactly what they've done over the last couple of minutes. They took it from right around 1,000, now all the way up to 5,000 in just a span of 2 to 3 minutes. And they need to not let off the gas, though. They need to make sure they keep the pressure on and that they strangle and suffocate EG. Do not let them have any map control.
They actually have amazing heroes against PA too. Like, we saw Havos playing PA against Tree, and that kind of says you have to go for both BKB and Manta. Now, he had other things to work with that game, which is really difficult, but in this game, Pugna's freaking amazing against PA. Not for the sense that you just, like, can decrep Pugna, or sorry, you can decrep PA, but if PA gets a BKB and you can't decrep anymore, you just decrep the hero that he's attacking. It makes him pretty useless, honestly. So PA, despite, you know, Arteezy being a very veteran player on PA specifically, he's going for what looks like a Battle Fury. It's going to be a very, very late timing. But even when he gets that, he can't really go for BKB, because even if he does, he's going to get Viper ulted. He's going to get Treant ulted. Whoever he's attacking is going to get decrept. Not the best PA game, honestly.
We got a smoke moving through the jungle. Nobody home, though. Gonna have to travel quite a distance if they actually want to catch up with someone. Zai and Mason just across the way, and yep, they're gonna go for it. Here we go.
Radiant's top
Moonlight Shadow
tower
is
is
ready
under
if they want to
attack.
take a shot at it. There's Yol. Gets an eye on him. Kinetic field is there. Might be able to glimpse him back. He's holding on to it. And yep, there's going to be the Moonlight Shadow. Zai trying to do what he can. Throws out the magic missile onto Yol. There's going to be the Viper Strike as well. There's a swap on the Sidoi to try to get himself to safety. Don't think it's going to matter, and it won't. So a little bit of time invested into just get a vengeful kill, but again, they're just continuing to do what we were talking about. Keep that pressure up, suffocate them, do not let them feel
Radiant's
safe anywhere on the
bottom
map.
tower is
This
under
tier 1
attack.
bottom was back to almost full. Universe is now taking a run at it. We'll see if they
Radiant
actually want to defend it. They
structures
should.
are fortified.
Yeah, they really should. The hardest part about closing out this kind of lineup is really pushing into the tier 3s. But the good thing is of what Solo's doing, he's getting into a
Radiant's bottom
Necrobook,
tower
which is
is under
fantastic in
attack.
doing so. And not to mention just Pugna in general. We talked about this actually yesterday.
EZZ in a little bit of trouble. He came down to try and defend that tower. Did not anticipate PPD's Jakiro waiting just outside of vision. Got hit with the Ice Pack. There's an arrow that actually connects on Universe, but PPD's there to follow it up once again. He's doing good damage. There's a Star Storm, and he ends up going down. They end up trading VZZ away, but Yol, yep, there's the glimpse.
Nice.
And Universe is going to end up making this a 2-for-1. He may do some damage to Yol by the time all's said and done, but with Sidoi there, this is what you cannot allow a Viper to do, by the way. Not only did he have a good laning phase, he's beginning to pile up a lot of kills on top of that as well. He had his Scepter up at a very, very quick clip, and now 1,700 gold on top of all that. What do you think the right call is item-wise? BKB?
Oh god, actually Solo just gets taken out right there. I missed it. Maybe some possible crits on him, and they did have, okay, they used the Doom, so they used a lot, but I think they need to. They need kills where they can. To answer your question, the Viper, BKB, I mean, BKB is not good against Doom. It's also not that great against PA.
Yeah.
I think Manta's a bit better.
Manta.
It gives you more movement speed. You can Manta more liberally out of things like slows and things like that. It's actually good against PA because it gives him a little bit of a stutter step when he tries to find out which one's the real one. And I just think it's a better stats item too. And since BKB is not good against Doom, I would say Manta is probably the best thing.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Alrighty. Now, ex-RoX continuing to really show the flag here in this mid lane. Roshan will be back up in a few minutes. Battle Fury is done now on Arteezy. This is a 20-minute Battle Fury, so not the latest, but certainly not the earliest he's ever had. And he did skip
Dire's
Midas.
middle
We
tower
mentioned
is
that
under
usually
attack.
that's an option he likes to avail himself of, but Battle Fury on the PA. Not the comp, just the same thing, a lot of flash farming, but this is their last outer tier tower gone. So they do
Dire's
not have a
middle
single
tower
tower
has fallen.
standing, while RoX continues to have every tower standing. That might change as they've got Universe and PPD eyeballing this bottom tier 1, but yeah, they're just going to go ahead and go for this mid tier 3. They got some damage done to the top tier 3 already. It looks like they're just ready to put the siege on.
It would be really smart of them to wait out the Aegis on Arteezy. If they've timed it and they know exactly when it's going down in less than a minute.
Radiant's
And
top tower
I think they
is
need
under
every
attack.
advantage they can when you're pushing into high ground. They also have, I think, 2 Necrobook recipes coming out on the courier, so that no, it's just 1, and then Maelstrom by the bottom. So, but he's getting a little bit of ground here. They
Radiant's top
finally got a
tower
tower of
has
their own
fallen.
from Arteezy by himself. But yeah, I really think they need to slow it down. Just at least wait for the Aegis to go out. You
Radiant's
don't want to
bottom
fight
tower is
into
under
any
attack.
disadvantage you might have.
Not long now, like you said, be going away, but EG finally manages to bring down a tower, and they will go
Radiant's
ahead and
top
smoke.
tower is under
They're very
attack.
close already. Yep, they're going to spot Solo. This should be a very easy kill, and a good one to have. Doom not really necessary,
daggers am I
but
holding up?
nonetheless, a kill is a kill, and they're ready to charge out as 5. The Aegis is going to be reclaimed right about now. So Arteezy, now sans Aegis, still playing very, very aggressive and continuing to farm up.
Yep, and looks like they want to push mid. I think that somehow RoX
Radiant's
should defend
middle
this.
tower
Doom is
is
down,
under
although
attack.
Tidehunter ulti is still up. And that's really the scariest one, to be honest. Nice ulti there. Arrow comes in and barely whiffs. Here we go.
Oh, there's beautiful overgrowth. Static Storm Kinetic Field is there to buy some time, but now EG ready to turn it around on the back of a Ravage from Universe. Sidoi caught under his own tower. And Yol continuing to peck away behind the fight as well. They're kind of spread out amongst multiple tiers of ground. Universe end up dropping as he made his way out along the ridgeline. Believe it or not, he's the only hero to die in that entire engagement. Zai is going to be able to TP away.
Oh,
no, he
glimpse.
got glimpse back. Good glimpse from Yol, and that's going to make it a 2 for nil. I can't believe with all those big ultimates, no one biffed it until the very end. They managed to chase down Tide and Zai at the end. And now, ex-RoX, Team Gold Black, whatever you want to call them, looking to once again make a run down this mid lane. Even if Tide does respawn in time, he won't have Ravage available.
To be honest, their damage output's really not that great at this stage of the game. It comes from PA, but I don't think PA had an opportunity to sit there, blink strike, and just go ham, because he's only got 1,000 HP, no magic immunity, the Aegis was already expired, so he can't really take that risk. So he's their damage. But yeah, here we go. Doom ulti is up in 1 second. He has it now available, so RoX.KIS need to play their cards a little bit scary. Oh, here we go. Engaging on the Yol. Yol gonna be... No! Overgrowth saved him. Arteezy and Mason both caught with it. Nice shoot. Shot from the ice path from the high ground, though, and EG loses Mason, but in the process manages to keep the tier 3 standing and bring down Yol as well. That was a great overgrowth from Gold Black. Almost bailed Yol out, but PPD was there. Now we're gonna have Arteezy caught with the Viper Strike, eating a lot of damage, able to blink ahead, though. And they may go ahead and try to continue to press the issue. Buyback from Yol as he hoofs it up lane. Universe has Ravage in 50 seconds. Tier 3 is down. They really want at least one set of racks here. Arteezy will be going BKB after that Battle Fury has his Ogre Club up. Solo eating a lot of damage and gets crit in the back by Arteezy. Now here comes Mason. Mason used Doom that last time around. And looks like that's finally going to be enough to shut down this effort from ex-RoX.KIS, 14-11. And this might be the moment when we look back on it 10-15 minutes from now when we say their time expired. Because now we're at 25 minutes in. We're beginning to see Arteezy pile up the gold. He's only about 1,000 away now from finishing his BKB. He is going to be a much bigger liability. And, you know, I've just seen it so many times with lineups like this. You get the tier 3, but you don't get racks. And because of that, you run out of steam about 5 to 10 minutes later. Well, you're not spending your time farming where the other team is. Yeah. They're trying to spread the map. They're split pushing as much as they can. So they're getting more farm. So if you're not actually capitalizing and pushing the high ground effectively, then yeah, it actually favors the other team, and I bet the graphs reflect that. Like, I wouldn't be surprised at all. Yeah, okay, the gold is going in favor of the pushers, that's obvious, and the experience is going in favor of the split pushers, and that's EG. I think that, who is it, Solo is just not playing as well in these engagements. Like, he had this magic stick charge up ready. It was kind of difficult because it was the crit right off the get-go. Like, he blinked in, crit first hit, and you wanted to see the crep come out onto himself, or even just to onto the PA, and he did have a magic stick. I think he could have played that just a little bit better, but again, it was a one-hit, it was the first hit crit, kind of caught him off guard a bit. Oh, Zai. I have no idea what he was even doing there. I guess they pursued him out. They figured out where he was. He was seriously hiding in this strand of trees with Yol standing right here for at least a minute, give or take. He was, well, maybe not quite that long, 30 seconds to 60 seconds, something like that. But at any rate, they track it down and get the kill. Mirana's item progression is continuing. We haven't talked a whole lot about DZZ, and really we should be. He has done pretty well for himself this game. He's right there in terms of farm with Arteezy. Has the Mjolnir done, the Aqualake, the drums. There's dual BKBs coming out. So it was BKB that Sadoy wanted on the Viper following the Scepter, and also a BKB on the Phantom Assassin. So magic immunity going to be playing a much bigger part, and that's going to have a big effect on heroes like Pugna in particular. Yeah, it is. I think especially the Disruptor. Like, the Disruptor ulti is kind of owning Arteezy if he gets caught in that plus a kinetic field. So he's not going to have problems with that anymore, but the case still stands that if Solo kind of steps up his game a little bit, starts using the Crep a little bit more effectively, I think it really shuts down PA. In the meantime, there's another Roshan here for RoX.KIS. Actually, the first one went to EG, now RoX.KIS, and that will help him out a significant amount. Solo gets it. He needs it because he keeps dying. He's been so close to this Necro 3, but just hasn't been able to get it. Does he have it now? Yeah, he's got it now, but it's on cooldown for another 50 seconds. All right, looks like they want to continue to push up this mid lane, and EG setting their heels once again. Again, BKB is going to be a much bigger part of all this, and we can see in a defensive position while RoX.KIS for an opening. Let's see how aggressive they want to be. Down goes the ward. Mason's there. They are going to go ahead and crest high ground, just using Nether Blast for the moment. Not overcommitting, which is a wise decision. And just using Nether Blast over and over again to get the job done. This is all they really need to do. Arrow. Oh, God, it almost hit Mason. It splits the wickets that time. And yeah, they're just going to continue to do this and try to force EG to come out of the base. This is why I think Viper with good farm is so effective in these pushes, because the range on the Ag's ult is so far that you're just like kind of useless for the next, whatever it is, 6-7 seconds. And then every time you force a defensive Phantom Strike out from I was gonna say Fear Arteezy, but Arteezy, that means he can't fight for like another 5-6 seconds. That gives you a little window of opportunity. So this is smart playing here right now from RoX.KIS, and they still have the Aegis.
Waiting on another wave of creeps and giving me a good chance to use the new pullback mode.
And the Necro Bugs come out.
Yep, this is actually the perfect kind of thing to use this for. Trying to keep an eye on everyone there. This spread out. Here we go. Sidoi with the Mjolnir shield up. Going to move on up. Another ward is down. They're playing this as patiently as they can. Arrows off the mark. Ice Path caught 2. Let's see if they want to move in. And yes, they're going to go ahead and engage. Here goes the Static Storm, but the BKBs are deployed. Sidoi got doomed as well. And Solo is going to end up, yes, brought down. The Ravage was behind the fight. And now Goldblack caught with an Ice Path in the high ground for PPD. Solo back up and immediately back down. No, he's actually somehow still alive, using his life drain as best as he could. But EG looks like they may have done it. May have been able to crack the back.
Oh, Sidoi gets the kill. Actually, it's Yol on the Disruptor with the last hit, but his damage output was so high at the end there because of the low HP of Doom. But they do save the melee racks. Honestly, I feel like that's kind of a win for EG. They fought against basically 6v5. With the Necro 3s out and just the superior pushing lineup, and they actually still managed to save their melee racks. So I think EG played that very nicely.
I think that is going to be the moment where we know that RoX had their back broken, because they had the Aegis, they had the momentum, and that was the best chance they were going to have, because it's only going to get worse from here as the EG plays catch up a bit. BKBs are nice on the side of RoX too, but having Arteezy there as he develops his damage out. I mean, he's hitting for 234 already, and then of course
they want to fight here.
Top of that.
They want to fight here, I feel. Ice Path comes out to kind of stop things a little bit. Goldblack here with an overgrowth.
Oh, got one. That was Arteezy. There's a swap maybe from Zine, not even going to need. He's just going to BKB in man mode and moving in. Now the Ice Path is there to follow it up. The rest of EG is making it out, and Arteezy just simply TPs away in their face. So don't lose anyone. The overgrowth was expended to no avail. The rest of EG all able to teleport away, save for Zai, and he is getting fragged down. And yep, he's going to go ahead and glimpse back. No, actually he was glimpsed back. And Yol cleaned up. So Yol with that glimpse securing the kill, and looks like they're not done yet. It's still going to be a tall order to push in here. They do have a glyph if they need it. Doom is at the ready. Oh, another 30 seconds out, and Solo gets blown up immediately. There goes the Static Storm in the kinetic field. Sidoi using that BKB. They do manage to bring down Mason. Let's see if they can follow it up. Arteezy doing everything he possibly can, but the damage output's still a bit too much. Universe is there, still waiting 20 seconds until Ravage. The racks are still together for the moment. Goldblack does end up dying to Mason, off with a buyback, and he's ready to chase them out. They didn't even have to use the glyph that time. Now they're going to turn back around. But it looks like they thought about
should get this kill on Mason. They could have got that. Oh, here comes the glimpse. They'll get it.
Yep, there's the glimpse. Kinetic field. Yes, he does get caught inside. But here's Universe. There's that Ravage.
Oh, it just came up.
Fresh off of cooldown. They clean up BZZ because of it. And now a swap from Zai as well. And Sidoi getting some help from Solo. Doesn't matter. Crit damage is huge. And the Ice Paths are on the mark. Solo in trouble as well. Universe needs to be careful. And that's exactly why he does manage to lose him in vision. And he's going to go ahead and run for it. The Necro creeps. Nothing but 3 gold. That's a full 5-man wipe. And that's EG extending this game now past 30 minutes. And it has got to be demoralizing if you're ex-RoX right now.
They're just overextending and trying to bite off. They're trying to get way too much. That was a dieback, by the way, from Solo. His positioning in these fights is just not premium. And honestly, these Ice Paths are actually on point by Peter.
Yeah, they are.
We haven't really talked about that too much, but the first time they got kind of wiped there when they were trying to get the racks, that was what really set it all up. I was watching Universe the whole time trying to find an opening, but he couldn't really. Someone BKB'd right in front of him, and he doesn't want to use his ult on that. But it was an Ice Path that kind of really segregated the team, like 3 heroes from 2 heroes from RoX.KIS, and right there, another Ice Path. Actually, a couple of them were really disrupting things for RoX.KIS, and they tried too hard to stay there too long.
Goldblack coming in. Has overgrowth. Will he use it? There's the BKB. Yep, now he's going to go ahead and deploy it. They got a lot of help there. Arteezy and a lot of trouble. Blinks right on top of BZZ. Does he have the damage out?
He's not getting a crit.
He's
not
would
getting
have done it, but able to get the damage he so desperately needed. And once again, a tower remains standing, and I'm sure Goldblack will get that thing back in fighting shape sooner rather than later. After that last fight, by the way, EG took their first real lead of the game after that base defense. Now ticking slightly upwards in favor of ex-RoX, but it has been such a swing. A 7,500 total
Radiant's
gold
middle
swing
tower is
over about
under
the last
attack.
20 minutes, give or take.
Oh god, look at the experience too. It's like 14K basically.
Yep.
I would be pissed if I was RTZ, by the way. That was like no crits at all. Pavos is laughing right now like, learn to crit, bro.
Arrow connects with Mason. They're going to leap right on top of him. Mason is not that
Radiant's
tanky.
middle
And
tower is under
he's
attack.
probably just going to die here if they can catch up with him. He's got Doom. And BZZ trying to track him down. He's going to try to TP away. No, he does
He didn't
make
get a
it.
proc. He didn't get a proc on the Mjolnir.
Yes,
Radiant's
made it
middle
away
tower is under
at the
attack.
last possible second. And that wouldn't have been the biggest deal if he had died, but certainly something to avoid, and he's going to be quite happy hanging out back in the fountain for now.
Yep, absolutely. But again, going back to when they're actually pushing as a team, Solo's just got to find a better place to stand. Put that nether ward back just a little bit further. I feel like he's like placing the nether ward and like feeling like he has to defend it. So he's like kind of positioning himself in front of it, but then he just dies. Like he gets hit by an ice path and then the rest is history. So
He's been placing it a little close in general. Like the range on nether ward at max level is
Radiant's
actually
bottom
ridiculous.
tower is
yeah,
under
I mean,
attack.
I understand he wants to get as close as possible so that it hits everybody.
Right, but he's been sticking it like right here.
Yeah.
Instead of like, and he's got a little bit better, but he could easily be sticking it like right here and playing like right here and throwing up, you know, nether blast and stuff from there.
Yeah, I think that just in general, he just, wherever it is, he needs to be a little bit more careful of his hero positioning. Because he's very important in these pushes. He's very important. And when he dies immediately, it's pretty much a signal for the rest of RoX to just kind of leave. But when they invest so much time and effort to pushing, they don't want to leave. They need to press the issue because they just, as the game progresses against especially a PA, you know, the Tidehunter ulti and all that jazz, it's just too difficult.
Be hooking up as a group, and here we go, Glimpse. RTC back, BKB's through it. Now he's probably going to try to engage with an overgrowth though, and yes, big Ravage! Catches Gold Black, Yol, and Solo. Universe coming in, but the follow-up simply wasn't there. RoX is absolutely responding to this fantastically. They're kiting it out, but now,
Radiant's
finally,
bottom tower
they're able to track one down. Yol glimpses one back, that'll be RTZ sent back. Not gonna save him though. Sadoy was hit with the Doom, and Sadoy doing what damage he can. Yol actually does manage to make it away because of the leech seed, healing him up, and now RTZ can't quite track him down. He's got an urn charge on him. Finally, doesn't even get a crit, but didn't even need it. Now it's Sadoy and Solo. There's the decrep, but it's not gonna matter. Buys him a little bit of time, and walks right into the ice path. That's gonna be an ultra kill. As RTZ looks for a rampage. Do they have a gem? Nope, they don't. That's a shame. Haven't seen a rampage in a while. Would have enjoyed it. But this is what we were talking about all game. They just don't have a comeback mechanic. And, well, EG has RTZ.
Very well played. RTC's going ham now. Now getting the crits he deserves and wants.
He earned.
And I like his, it looks like he's probably going to go for a Manta, which I think is perfect. I talked about that earlier. I mean, how do you kill him now? And yeah, you can decrep yourself, like I mentioned with Pugna, but his whole team is dying beforehand. I feel like you mentioned, they had a window and they missed it. Like they just totally missed it, and it just came to some kind of, you know, poor positioning on their part. But now RTZ, he's insane. He's going ham. He's got Manta plus like 2,000 gold.
Yeah,
AC onto the Doom. He's ridiculously farmed too.
I love this build on Doom. I love it. This is just my favorite way to see Doom played in a play Doom. Basically just be an aura guy.
Well, look how much damage RTC's going to hit with the aura from Venge, with Vlad's. You also have the crit aura on top of that. It's going to be insane if they're all next to each other.
Yep. Drums, Vlad's, AC. Havost, whenever he plays Doom, tends to do this too. And I feel like it's probably the most well-rounded way to go about it. You can throw a mech in there too if you want. This time, not the case, but Tide opting to get that mech first. Certainly fine with that. RTZ, though, going to be spotted out. May have overstepped his bounds, but this time has BKB at the ready. Not going to matter. Dies immediately. There's going to be an overgrowth. Mason, BKB through it. Universe will be glimpsed back, but there's going to be an ice path that catches a few. Buyback from RTZ. It looks like they may decide to run. Universe doing what he can. Doesn't have enough mana for Ravage. Didn't even have it off cooldown. Rest of EG trying to regroup a little bit. Ends up being a 1-for-1 as they manage to get BZZ behind the fight. But now EG on the offensive. And losing Tide, that stinks. Not nearly as bad as losing a Mirana, though. BZZ's Mirana, a huge part at this stage of the game of the damage they can really rely upon. As good as Pugna is, it's still unreliable. because of BKBs and the such. And just look at how quick that
That's
rotation.
1,600 crits with those auras. That's what I was talking about. Plus, he basically does 360 flat damage. That's without crits with all those auras. It's ridiculous. And now he's unkillable because he has an Aegis. He also has Manta and BKB to get out of Overgrowth like twice.
Yeah.
So it's like he can use BKB now to just run in the fights to avoid all the magic. Then when Overgrowth comes to stop his BKB and his movement, nope, you can use the Manta to get out of that. So this is why this build is so effective. Slap an Aegis on top of it, it's really difficult to take him down.
Well, he's had a hell of a game, 13-4 as of this point, and has really what you expect RTZ to do. You should play passive, then aggressive. Couple of mistakes here and there, as tends to be the case as well. But for the most part, this is now EG's. I mean, look at this. It's the biggest lead of the game. They're up to almost 10K gold lead now.
I'm sure experience is really... Oh, here comes an ult on RTZ. He hasn't used BKB yet. Wants to use it maybe to buy his team some time.
Yep.
Oh, arrow? Oh, it doesn't hit.
Ice Path caught one. Now RTZ going to go to work. There's the BKB Overgrowth with spin. He's going to Manta out of it. Going to work and chase him down solo. Solo decreps. There's going to be a beautiful Ravage though that caught form. Sadoy is doomed on the back of him. Mechs go off on both sides. RTZ is quite low though, and they do manage to clean him up. Sadoy though ends up dying behind that to Mason. Goldblack can do nothing but waddle away, uses Nature's Guise as best he can. Track down, found out. There's a swap of Zai, grabbing BZZ. Has leap in 3 seconds. Yol is right there with him. Universe sticking right on, and there's another anchor smash. Isn't enough. Universe does die to a last arrow. BZZ actually manages to make it away. Now it's Yol who gets off another kinetic field, and that'll secure his own escape behind the fight. We've got Zai being pursued alongside the Ancients. Zai eating a lot of damage from Sadoy and Goldblack. Sadoy back up off the buyback and manages to secure yet another kill. All that, and we're dead even. Mason's not done yet, though. Being pecked away at by Yol and BZZ. They're very low, but they got a good amount of damage. Does he have a glimpse? He does not.
Oh,
not for
nice.
7 seconds.
Sidestep, and he goes to the kinetic field. What a play by Mason. No glimpse for 3 seconds.
Not out of trouble yet. Yep, there's PPD, and Yol's got to consider it. No. And back BZZ is in trouble now, and PPD showing off just how deadly a Jakiro can be, especially when it's a flying dragon. Using the Force Staff after the Ice Path and the Macro Pyre to secure things out. EG gets a little payback. BZZ playing a bit greedy.
That was some fancy footwork by Mason, I have to say.
Oh, it was.
And then nicely executed there by PPD using all his spells. He knew that the leap was on cooldown, so once he hit the Ice Path, threw down that Macro Pyre right afterwards. And then actually, I believe it was the Glimpse that Glimpse doomed back, and he actually got the last hit onto Miranda to kick him while he's down. So nicely played right there. I was going to say something else, but that was just too cool. Oh, yeah. Zai has a freaking BKB, by the way. But he's just... oh, he also has a blink. And he had a cheese that he used, and it was like to no avail right there. It was kind of wasted, but this is how ridiculous this game has gotten. Like, it was so bad for EG early on, but it's just completely turned it around. Maybe up now for the THD.
Yeah, what I think we're beginning to see now, and it's kind of unfortunate, but it's just how Dota works, is we saw as they did as best they could. That was actually pretty damn well played from ex-RoX. But the truth is, sometimes you just hit a wall with the limitations of your heroes and the limitations of the composition you have and what you're up against. And that's kind of what I think we're seeing now. It's just the sheer weight of EG's later game potential is coming to bear fruit. And I have a hard time imagining, outside of just really flat-out outmaneuvering in every single way, EG. I don't know what ex-RoX can do. If it were you, what would the plan be?
For RoX this year?
Yep.
I mean, again, it's really hard because you missed that window. I guess you can maybe contest in the somewhat late game if Potom gets enough items. But the first time, she needs that MKB, which she's working towards. That's absolute first step number one. She needs MKB, or you're just not going to have the damage output for RTZ. Even with the BKB and Manta, with the Ags upgrade up on a Disruptor, I missed that, by the way. That's why she didn't BKB earlier, but I don't think she would have anyway.
Right.
But anyway, even with the Manta and BKB up on RTZ, I still feel like they're keeping them relatively in place well. Like, it's not like she's having complete free reign in these fights. I mean, last time she had an Aegis, so it was very difficult. But if you get the MKB up onto BZZ, or yeah, up onto 6 BZZ, and if you're on point with these self-decreps onto your teammates and yourself, I think you can maybe contest RTZ. But again, the problem still stands that you have this massive AoE ult from Universe. That I think is going to be the biggest problem.
Yeah, BKBs are becoming very important, obviously on both sides, but the fact that Ravage is still as effective as it is, only one BKB out on all of RoX.KIS. And that being, of course, on Sadoy, and it's tough. It's tough whenever you have to worry about that constantly. They do have some answers for PA, as you said. Decrep has done a pretty good job of at least extending the fights, and they also have a halberd up on Gold Black, and that certainly helps. But it all comes down to execution, and we're going to have a smoke. Did he just ravage?
Oh, they could kill that courier if they really wanted to.
He just ravaged.
Did he really?
Dyer's
Yeah, Universe just ravaged.
God.
Yep,
They killed the courier. If they didn't go for the courier, they didn't know. I don't think they ravaged. Oh, the arrow!
Oh! Gets Arteezy. Yep, they know it's coming, and yep, Zai's going to swap him.
Oh, boy.
Here we go. Let's see if they can catch up. Trying to pursue. 4 staffs, blink daggers on everyone. And EG, Arteezy, knows he's public enemy number 1. PPD will teleport out, but they do manage to catch Zai. So Zai ends up being
That's
a casualty
fine.
of war.
That's fine.
All things considered.
They even popped the Necro book for that. Arteezy used that
Get
Phantom
the courier,
Strike.
though. Did you see if there's anything on the courier?
I don't know. I didn't see, but honestly, it was funny because they were sitting there forever. Like, should we kill the courier or should we just go for them? Should we kill? What do we do? All right, fuck it, kill the courier. Like, it was kind of funny because they were just thinking about it for a second. I feel like if they just went, it would have maybe gotten Arteezy, but they didn't see that the Ravage was wasted, so he just totally misclicked, right? Like,
Yep. No, like he was seriously. I don't know. I heard it. I didn't see it. I was watching the smoke, and he was standing right around in this area.
Maybe he was like
It was either
Roche,
there or like there. I'm not sure.
and he just like accidentally hit R or something.
Yeah, something happened because I heard it and went and checked. And it was on a fresh cooldown. So that's rare. Universe, you know, that's one thing the guy is always consistent, and just I don't know, maybe so next level. Like I'm gonna give him benefit of the doubt and say it was an accident, but
There was, there was no one by.
yeah,
Like,
exactly. Maybe he thought there was a tree there. Yeah, there we go. But I don't know. Anyway, it's 28-28. We're still knotted up in terms of kills, and Gold still heavily in favor of EG. Has taken a slight uptick in favor of RoX, but still only going to get worse. And Ravage blown for no reason or not. Still going to be a lot of work for RoX to try and grind this game out.
Okay,
And
well, there are some ways, like I said, it's got to be MKB. They actually have one finished onto Viper at the same time as Mirana. These
Yep,
are the
that's
ways that you
nice.
can contest with PA in the late game. Like, she suddenly becomes not so tanky anymore. That 50%, bam, gone. And that's a big part of this hero, so yeah, I feel like there are still openings here. But again, that's why I go back to the Ravage, which unfortunately was wasted. But that's really going to be, I think, the biggest key. That plus these amazing ice paths coming out from PPD, and just the Doom, of course, it speaks for itself. And he almost has, I think, a refresher is what he's going to go for.
All right, EG moving out, and they're a little split up right now. This is one of the ways they could end up losing, is if they get caught out split up like this. Arteezy just continuing to farm away. It's 2,700 gold tucked away. I didn't see if there's anything on the courier. I would like to know. Doom has actually picked up an Oblivion staff now. Looking for that refresher. Wants a double Doom.
Yeah, maybe it was like a satanic recipe for RTC. I don't know. I could make stuff up. I don't really know what's on it. It's coming up right now,
It was
so we'll
Iron
see.
Branches.
Yeah, there you go. It was a Shiva's recipe, I think.
Yep, that's what
Or, or something else on it. Maybe it was like the Mystic Staff.
Oh, wow. It's no, he just bought that, I think. Okay.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, it looks like it was a Shiva's recipe. But at any rate, EG is now tucked up under their own tower. Zai will go ahead and TP home. And this could be the game-defining offensive for both teams. See if they can... Oh, there's actually an arrow that connects on Arteezy. And like you said, he does not feel that tanky. Zai with a good swap, though. Gets him up to safe ground. And believe it or not, Zai's actually feeling kind of tanky himself because of that BKB. Looks like this is where they want to make their stand. The refresher is done on Doom in the meantime, so they're going to have double Doom.
That's really scary. That's so scary.
Well, they shouldn't know he has it. If he stays out of vision, they won't. Universe is to the south, and yeah, now they do, I'm sure they checked his inventory.
Radiant's
If I were to
bottom
check boxes
tower
of
is under
not
attack.
scary, scary, and so scary, this would be so scary. Oh, Mason actually gets hit by an arrow. Should be fine. But yeah, this is checkbox, so scary.
Yep.
Like,
And oh, you're a
I
Twitch
know
whore.
Conrad loves that.
You're a Twitch whore, you know that? Both of you. Both of you.
We just egg each other on. Like, I used to not be so much, but then Conrad's just a huge fiend with that
he
kind
is
of
the
shit.
ultimate fiend. The ultimate fiend. Just it radiates off of him. He is a walking Kappa face.
Yeah, so-
Literally, he has a Kappa t-shirt. I see him wear some.
Does he really?
Yes.
That's pretty badass.
You know you do.
That's pretty badass, actually. Here
All
comes
right,
the smoke.
timeout, Dota. We've got a smoke,
no,
and they're going to
Sadoy.
run right on top of Sadoy. There's the Ravage actually catches two to the trees. Sadoy's going to end up dying to this, and now Zai going for the magic missile onto Yo, and able to clean him up. So that's going to be 2 down for realsies. No buyback on Viper either, if they decide to push anywhere. And no follow-up. The static storm did go off, but nothing they can do about it. He's down for a long time. And looks like they're actually not that interested in trying to push the issue unless they just want to reverse course and immediately rush down mid.
Well, their creeps were a little bit further back in mid.
Roche is up.
Yeah, they can take, well, there's a DD bottom as well.
Oh, man.
Just spawn. They can take mid tier 2.
Radiant's middle
They can maybe
tower
go Roche.
is
But if they're
under
really, like, the smartest play would probably be, okay, we saw the
Radiant
MKB on Viper. He
structures are
probably doesn't have
fortified.
buyback. Let's make him waste it if he does, which he doesn't. Just go up mid. I think that's what they'll do. Maybe
Radiant's
send 1 or
middle
2
tower
back
has
to
fallen.
stop this push. They need to.
Dire's
They don't want to split
structures
this at
are
all.
fortified.
This tower's going to go down. Here comes TBD. And maybe an aggressive blink swap onto one of the heroes. Oh, wow. Huge range swap. Yep, Godlock is dead.
Gold Black cleaned up under the tier 3. Trying to be a little too cute, but he did manage to stultify the push. BZZ sidesteps the ice path. And still being pursued. Universe is there. Hits a long range gush. He's going to turn, hit the arrow. Universe actually caught him with the Shivas. And that arrow, believe it or not, ended up being point blank, so the stun duration was very, very low. And able to easily finish it up. And it seems like the wheels are officially coming off the wagon for ex-RoX. Don't know that they've got a whole lot more gas left in the tank.
And they get Roche from the DD spawn. I don't know if they see it, but if he has all those auras on with DD, it's going to be like 3,000 crits. And Satanic now finished for PA. If he wasn't unkillable before, now he's definitely unkillable. Not to mention, like, he has those multiple ways. He's got now massive lifesteal if he wants. And also just the swap coming out from Zai has been really helpful for him this entire time.
He's going to land a DD. Don't know he's going to get to put it to use, but got to admit the morbid part of me wishes he could. I would love to see him crit with that bad boy. They're just going to go ahead and set up shop in mid. Up at top, Solo going to try to, make things happen by split pushing top lane, but time for that is come and gone, and it is the time for our
Watch his crits. I want to see like a 3K crit. He has to have the auras on though.
Lucky time for Arteezy to take this game over. Just look at that damage. There's going to be an ice path and catch anything.
Barracks are under attack.
And that's just a free center
Radiant's
axe.
middle
Nothing they can do.
has fallen.
Arteezy moving around. He's going to go to work on the creeps. And no, actually going straight to work on the
Dire's bottom tower.
tower. And let's see. They're going to mount the fence at some point. Here they come. The moving in. There's actually a Ravage that went off behind that. Looked like they wanted to initiate forward. But Doom goes off. That'll catch Sadoy. And the rest of the fight raging on as BZZ's caught in the side. There's going to be an overgrowth that caught a couple, but Arteezy continuing to just do work in cleaning up shop. The macro fire actually secures that kill. And EG walk away with this one. They bring down the tier 3. Looks like they might reset a little bit. Mirana is down, and they do manage to actually, Arteezy swapped out and goes to work on Sadoy. Living armor buying him some time, but not much. He's hit with decrep, buys some time. And Arteezy there to finish it out. He's just going to go ahead. Oh, wow, what a crit. Took it from 100 to about 20%, notches a triple kill. And that will be your GG. A 51-minute slugfest. RoX look to be in total control of their fate early, but by the end, a 25,000 golden experience lead for EG. As they take a 1-0 lead here in the second round of the upper bracket in their bid to head out and make our grand finals. Fantastic play, and